Hey everybody, Tony Bickert here, truck camping golfer. I'm parked in a town that has Wi-Fi. I didn't have any yesterday or last night because I need to contact Geico and I guess what's called file a claim. That's hitting me hard. The accident I had yesterday, the accident I caused, the silly accident I caused. Uh, I'm having trouble coming to terms with that. The truck is structurally sound. The camper hasn't been damaged at all. Actually, the bottom of it has. If you look at the pictures I showed yesterday in the video, you can see that, and I'll have more later. But it's fine. It's the tailgate took all the brunt of the impact. It's almost like one of those where you see one of those Jersey walls, those divider walls, and at the front of them they put that kind of layers of protection. So if you hit it, it goes and you don't, get killed. I think my tailgate did that. It kind of collapsed, but it protected my truck. The other guy's fine. His truck was drivable, but I caused probably 40 people a problem yesterday. He was a railroad guy, and he was going to pick up 4 people somewhere who had jobs to do elsewhere. And of course, we were stuck for 4 hours waiting for the police who never showed up. They got there was a mix-up with the dispatch or something, and I could have left immediately anyway after I exchanged information, but I ended up staying and waiting for 4 hours because that guy, the guy who I wrecked into, was a company man, and his boss's boss said, "Wait for the cops and do the report," and So I was obliging them. It's the least I could do for wrecking into them. What happened was I pulled up to a creek. Let me back up a little further. Oh my God, no pun intended. Back up. Google sent me on a really desolate road. It didn't know. Although, normally it's the first time this has happened. The road was 1 lane dirt for about 40 miles and holes everywhere, potholes. You couldn't go fast. Especially where I was, where I stopped my truck. It was in a gully that was all mud, and a creek was running through the bottom of it. And I'm like, you know what? I didn't know what was in front of me at the time. Like, this is going to be all the way to the Grand Canyon, I just sat there, looked at it, and put it in reverse. Looked in my mirror, nothing. And backed up. And, I was kind of glad my tires weren't spinning. I'm like, oh, I'm going good here. Until there was a little clearing up there. I could do a 3-point turn. And I wish I would have looked in my right mirror because that's where the guy was. He kind of creeped up behind me, was waiting for me to do something, but he was on kind of the right side of me. I crashed into him, just boom. And it was a jolting collision for a fender bender, probably on the high end of fender benders. And I keep playing it back in my mind, I guess there's a little trauma, but it's mostly my ego. How did I do that, why couldn't I have just looked over there? I hadn't seen a car in 30 miles. Nothing. And I don't think I felt I needed to do that. I probably didn't even need to, in most cases, even look. Just back straight up. Who's going to be back there? But there was no one in my mirror. I'm trying to justify my part in this, I think. But it was obviously my fault. But anyway, all those guys couldn't make it to their job. And it kind of reverberated, I don't know how hard they were working anyway on the railroad. railroad jobs are kind of cushy. But, you know, that's none of my business right now. I'm hoping they don't try to sue me to cover all the time lost. You know, so I got to call Geico. That's why I pulled over. Finally got some Wi-Fi. Um, you know, I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed. You know, I told a couple of people, oh, accidents happen. Oh, that wasn't your fault. Yeah, it was my fault. And accidents don't happen for the most part if you're careful. And that's what, you know, my head's telling me. But there's got to be a part in the middle where I have to come and accept this and be okay with it. I'm not there yet, you know. I can only imagine what some real trauma can, how that can affect people. People that come back from wars, or firefighters who see people die, or police who, you know, maybe almost saved somebody. You know, stuff like that. It's got to be a lot worse than mine, but you know, all I got is mine. All I got is my head, and it gives me all the trouble I can take. But I'm going to move on. I got up early and said, you got to drive. Don't think. Don't be still. Drive. And do what you got to do. You know, think of the next thing you got to do. And that is to call Geico.